female victims were slightly more than male victims reporting in this study, but this is not a significant difference, meaning that both males and females can coercively control one another. It's a human thing, it's not a gender thing. If we look at who the people say that did it, then here we see a significant difference between male partners and female partners. But for children, because also children become coercively controlled, and that's exactly what we're all talking about these days. They say it's more the mother that's doing this than the father. And then if you look at the prevalence, and I love graphs, because then I see it, the male partner, well, number one, followed by mom, followed by the female partner, followed by father. And here you see that it's not a gender thing, it's a human thing. There are differences, though, in the behaviors that men and female and women can do. Women can be dominant and controlling, and we are easily able to humiliate somebody else. But controlling men are more likely to isolate their partner. And in this isolation, they tend to take care that the wife doesn't work or have any friends. And this is an important difference. Men of controlling women are usually not afraid of being murdered by their ex-wife or their wife, whilst women are. In the last few months, I think 4 or 5 women were murdered by their ex-partners. And there were all these red flags that had been before that murder. And that's bad, it's a really bad thing. And the reasons the people give for, or there are for killing your wife is just because she left me, or it's an honor killing. I didn't want her to be a lesbian. And this is sometimes something that parents do with children. Or the man creates a situation in which his partner is working as a prostitute, and she wants to stop doing that, and he doesn't allow it. But we must be aware when we talk about coercive control of the gender bias. So we must always have an open mind. It can be the man and it can be the woman that is doing what we're hearing in their narratives. And I spoke already of the red flags, and red flags are important. We must recognize it. And the first red flag is love bombing. The relation starts dramatically fast, and perhaps in a week or in 2 weeks people live together, and in 1 month already decides to get a baby, and it's going and it's going, and it's like heaven, and you feel really put on a pedestal. I always wonder, why would you want to be on a pedestal at all? You know, to try and be equal to one another and not stand on a pedestal, but still. They place you on a pedestal of which you can tumble down as fast as you can say pedestal. And they really make you feel guilty if you're not with them, if you don't love them the way they want to, if you don't do everything they need you to do. And then this is the falling of the pedestal, the insults come and start. And then you get this insult, and then you get this terrible quarrel. It's sometimes, more than sometimes, also combined with physical abuse. And then the next morning they're all in tears and they're crying and they're saying, sorry, I didn't mean it, please forgive me, it won't happen again. And this will go on and go on and go on, forgiving and starting anew. And they really disrespect your boundaries. You don't even realize you have boundaries at all. You just become assimilated with this person. He's my husband, and he and I feel with him as well. But he's not coercively controlling me, although he's watching me now. There is a series, and I taped a small part of the series, The Hunt for Role Mode. It happened in England. This role mode was in prison when his ex-girlfriend visited him, and she said to him that she didn't want their relationship to continue. And this is a true story, and I'm sure that you can stream it somewhere. And if you want to read it, this is what happens, and my sheets, I will take care that they will be provided. But I'm going to show you a small part of this film in which you can see how coercive control overtly, because there's also covert coercive control, overtly works. Do we have noise? Do we have sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no sound, eh?
Oh, no. Now there's.
Dutch translation for the Dutch. I'll put it any louder.
Can you put the microphone to it, maybe?
That's what I feel. Talks more than anything. As soon as possible, just the whole backwards.
Absolutely. I just take for a walk, you know, hang out the three or something.
Please. There's no you and me anymore. You know that.
I can change some of that. I want to this time. I know.
Please.
I'll do it. You tell us what you want to do. I'll do.
I want you to stay away. Please.
Why?
You.
I'm not believing. Or something that maybe makes it down.
For the love of God, will you listen to yourself? In here, for hitting your 9-year-old daughter.
What?
I think it's best that I just go.
No, please. I'm sorry. Please, come on. I won't make a second. Sit down.
I've heard it all before. Well, so many times.
Please.
If you really do care about that, then you leave us alone. Please.
No. Do not do this to me, Samantha. Don't. I can't. You know what you mean, mate. I can't go on. I won't let you.
I've moved on. Well, and you should too.
You've got someone else. I'm stuck in here. And you found someone else. Who is?
Please just hold on, step in. It makes no difference who it is. You and me are not together. Please.
Okay. No, almost were passionate. Please, they were me. As you were. You may as well tell us now because I'm going to find out.
sound is so bad. But perhaps even not listening to him, you can see how he is. And the fear he presents into his ex-girlfriend. And how he just dismisses this guardian from the prison, as you were. Well, he finally heard from her that she had a relationship with a policeman. And she never had a relationship. She had a relationship, but not with a policeman. And she thought by telling him that he was a policeman, they would be afraid of harassing them. Well, he wasn't, and he made a tremendous hunt on policemen. And all of England really favored him. They were saying, this is a good man, he's fighting the police. Well, finally, he killed her boyfriend. And he really damaged her face so much that she has many scars, and he was shot in the end. This really happened, and this is how course of control may look like. This is what you sometimes find a person that is doing this when you are talking to him or her. Now I've got another one, and I already explained it. It's overt. This is so clear. Anybody can see it. Within 5 minutes you understand that this is a course of controlling man. In Hope Street, this is a series. I love looking at series when I'm tired and I don't want to think of my work, but still, I always think of my work. And in Hope Street, there is this course of control done by a lady. And the police already found that she took the telephone of her husband and hid it in a drawer and had a key of it, and he couldn't have keys of the car, so he had no way of escaping. And people in the village where Hope Street is playing, they tried helping him. And she found out that they were, and she assaulted one of the persons that was giving him money, because he had no money either. A small film. I hope it works. It will eventually go. She assaulted this person that gave money. You can't hear it, can you? No. It's got no use if you can't hear it. What is the thing here is that the police officers tell this lady that not only did she assault the friend of her husband that was trying to help him get away, but she was also coercively controlling her husband. And this is punishable in England. So she was going to be sent to court on this course of controlling. In the UK, it is a crime. The effects of course of control are tremendous. Fear. You saw it already in the first video. The fear is great, and not just by the there are some seats here if you prefer to sit. Not just by the ex-partner, but all the surroundings, the parents, the neighbors, they all fear a course of controlling person. And the effects are often, it's so traumatic, that afterwards people are being diagnosed with PTSS, depression, substance abuse, suicide, femicide. So the effects are horrendous. But now, the case I was going to talk to you about. I have this case of highly educated parents. Both of them were scientists. Mom was young. She was a mom when I met her. She was young and very ambitious. She was pretty. She still is pretty. And she was, when she met her husband, working for her PhD. The husband was middle-aged. He was a professor. He was supervising PhD candidates, and so was also supervising her. He was married, but at the moment that he was supervising her, they were already separate, he says. He had adult children when they met and was already a grandfather himself. And they fell in love. He really got a craving for her, and it was love bombing from the first moment on. It was a fast start. She was pregnant within 2 months. And they married. He separated, of course, first, and they married. But just as fast as the love was bombing, also her abuse was starting, guilt tripping. She blamed him for almost everything that he did. And she did that publicly. She went to his office in the university and slapped him in the face where everybody could see it. She screamed at him, she yelled at him. And the only thing that she wanted was for him to forgive her and to beg her for forgiveness. And more he felt isolated, and more he felt down. But yeah, there was this baby, and it was his second marriage, and the first marriage had already failed. It was impossible for him to acknowledge that he did it again. He was angry at himself. And they often reconciled again. But the insults escalated terribly. She screamed at him, she yelled at him. When they were at his family's home, she made a tremendous scene in front of everybody. And she fought. Of course, she told me that he had hit her and that she had blue scars, and etc., etc. But I did my research well, and I looked for evidence of all those scars and found the opposite. Evidence that she was indeed abusing him. So they grew apart. There were no boundaries for her. She really went over everything. And the effect on the child was tremendous. But still, her story was, he abused me. His story was, she abused me. Who is doing the gaslighting? At that stage, when I was still doing my research, I didn't know. And we had a meeting when in the Netherlands, parents can't get an agreement on who's taking care when of the child, the child arrangement. We get a multidisciplinary meeting. And here there was this multidisciplinary meeting, and it was horrendous to see what happened. She was really downgrading the professionals present. And she did it. She was clever. She bounced with her fist on the table and she said, and what are you? Do you think that you are? Did you have an education to say this about my children? And the professionals were really scared of her. And they shut their mouths. So it was a tremendous meeting. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, wow, what did I see? Am I the only one that saw this? So I checked with other of the professionals present. Did you also see it? Yeah, we all saw it. So I proceeded in my research and I started fact checking. And she sent me, of course, those blue spots. These are from internet, not her blue spots, of course. And I was wondering, I don't know. And to be honest, I once had a case where a mom said that her child got when the child met with dad. And she had sent a lot of photos to the guardians who were taking care of this child. And they were clever to look on internet. And she had copied them from internet. So you really must understand that you have to check. I don't know when she get this. I have blue marks always. I always bump into something. And if I make a lot of photos, it will be interesting. So you need to know the context. When did it happen? What happened before? And what happened after? And then I started checking the mails that they sent to each other. And in these mails, they from and to were saying you did this and you did that. And most of all, she was scratching. She was using her nails. And even her parents said, yeah, she sometimes used her nails. As if that's funny. It is not funny. Abuse is never funny. I really hate films. And you have this woman and she's standing there and her husband comes in and she thinks that he's done something wrong and then she slaps him in the face and we all have to laugh. Why? Why should we laugh? Because if it's a man that's slapping the woman in the face, nobody laughs. abuse is not for something to laugh about. You hear I'm a little bit emotional about it. Further research, I checked with the relatives, and I checked with her family, and I checked with his family, and I asked, what did you see of the abuses that both of them mentioned? And his family could say a lot of abuse moments that they had witnessed, and her family only talked about this scratching thing. And I did further research, I did my observations, and I used it also in this multidisciplinary meeting. And my outcome was, yeah, those little nails of her, and she had slapped him more than once, and it was all shown in the mails that they had sent to each other, and she had been screaming to him. And it was really interesting, you know, because she's coming to court, and she's a small woman. She's slim, not a big one, not a high one, and very pretty looking, and she's highly educated. So nobody really thinks that this woman may be an abuser. It's all in research that we have to do to find out what are we talking about and what is to be done, because in this case, of course, you understand that this child that they had didn't go to dad because dad had been abusive of mom. Really, that's the narrative that mom told to the child. Well, this is my case, and this is something about course of control. Again, sorry for that the sound was not so good of the films. Perhaps you have any questions?